2022, WrestleMania. It was your triumphant return to WWE. Since then, 4 straight main events against iconic rivals. How do you possibly describe your relationship with the Show of Shows?
I'll use a term that I heard Sami Zayn use backstage, and I think I've waited my whole life to use it. Golden Boy, right? But I can only say it with confidence because of my relationship with the Show of Shows before I came back to WWE, where I was the furthest thing from that. The absolute bottom of the card, and no knock to getting on this thing is hard enough. To come back and be on a WrestleMania, amazing. To main event WrestleMania, and then to main event WrestleMania again, as far as pro wrestling and sports entertainment goes, that's the hardest thing to get, maybe other than the WWE Championship. So I can say Golden Boy, but it's with the most humble way. Because again, if this all ends, what a great legacy just now. We're making a dynasty, I hope. And I think I've said this before, we've talked about this off camera a couple times. My girls came into the world at the time I came into my own. So I have this connection with Mania that's not related to Dusty, that's related to them. I put their names on my boots for this one. It's funny because I don't know if they know, but I know, and it makes it a very special event. Yeah.
Cody, this year you returned to Las Vegas on the big stage against a guy who, for the better part of 2 decades, has been considered your dear friend, Randy Orton. A guy who, in the beginning of your career, believed in you when few did. You were by his side in all those early years. How do you reconcile that with the emotion of recent weeks of him being a guy who left you in pain in a pool of your own blood?
I don't think you can reconcile. I don't think you can. Everything it would take to beat Randy Orton at WrestleMania 42 and retain this, everything it would take probably was something that Randy Orton taught me in the first place. I have a tendency to see the best in people when the rest of the world is wondering why, or when Stephanie McMahon is coming into the ring to tell me not to do that exact thing. There's an expression in my family when it comes to WrestleMania specifically where we say, that's a curveball. Curveball. We had a curveball here. I thought we were going into this student versus teacher. I thought I'd get the opportunity for the guy I had my first match on WWE TV with to look at me and see me. And I've said that a bunch. That's a really important thing for him to see me and know, oh, he's a totally different animal. And not only that, he's gonna beat me. I need him to see that and know that. That's what I thought I was going into. So put on top of it, as if it's just a cherry, but it's clearly far deeper than that, the fact that he left me in a pool of my own blood on your desk. If you're a Randy Orton fan and you want him to get 15, I don't think you wanted him to get 15 standing next to Pat McAfee and being something that he's never been before. And this is a tricky word in our world, but I'll tell you, it's fake. The Randy Orton that you're seeing now is fake, and the Randy Orton that you're seeing now will do anything, as we've seen, to get to 15. So again, you can't reconcile that. And really, it doesn't help me or behoove me to look at all the good stuff. I know what I felt. I felt the steps against my head. I felt the chair against my head. You only really need one to know what you're walking into at WrestleMania 42 and how you need to be walking into it.
Randy is reconnected with those voices in his head in a way like we've never seen. he has cited numerous times in the lead up to this WrestleMania main event that you were the one that gave it your blessing. You said you wanted that version of Randy Orton. Do you regret that at this point?
Well, I think I disagree that I gave him my blessing, but the best version of Randy Orton is 100% what I would want, and not only want, what I would need. And furthermore, extrapolate off that what wrestling fans are coming to see. Randy Orton is not retiring. We've had that a lot. We've been saying goodbye to a lot of people. Randy Orton has decided, no, now he's in the prime of his career. Now he's the best he's ever been. 2009 Randy Orton keeps being referenced. Okay, if he's that good, I'll pull the thread even further, because I was there in 2009. I saw everything that he did. I saw the stuff that we cannot put on television today because it was so bad. And then he went to WrestleMania. He wrestled for this against Triple H, and he lost. So I need Randy Orton to be the best that he's ever been, maybe the best that he'll ever be, because that's who you want to beat, right? Imagine. People got to look back at this, and I've got to be able to say that I did it. Can't just be a blip on their radar. You got to be their whole radar, if that makes any sense. I would need Randy Orton to be the very best he's ever been for this to be a WrestleMania main event, and it sure is.
Cody, I want to talk about Pat McAfee.
Oh.
His shocking return in the recent attack. Take me through it.
I don't know if I want to talk about Pat McAfee, but I know you know Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I know Pat McAfee, and I watch ESPN. I watch College Game Day. I know that guy, Pat McAfee, this hustle, this former NFL punter who got and built his entire brand, and now he has interjected himself into a WrestleMania main event. I think sometimes, Joe, people think that we're out there petitioning and asking, hey, for our outside celebrity friends who like sports entertainment and pro wrestling, come to WrestleMania, right? Come, you're gonna love it. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes something gets put out there, and I guess part of the whole QB1 thing is okay, we'll roll with that. Pat McAfee, being the guy that Randy Orton was talking to on the phone, is the most disappointing reveal in the history of pro wrestling, more than even the gobbledygooker, which I don't know if fans today would know that reference. That's how deep this goes. What I would say to Pat McAfee, as a fan of what we do, because he clearly is why don't we get you one of these Fanatics titles, right? You put it on your shoulder, man. Well, we could have you on commentary. Get him down, let him do an entrance. Fathom will even give him some pyro. Make a whole big thing. We'll chant his name, and then he can go back to whoever sent him, and he can say, thank you, Daddy. And we can be done with this. Because a match between Randy Orton, the best he has ever been, as we've discussed, and myself, fully entering my prime as a pro wrestler, doesn't need Pat McAfee. That's as nice as I can put that.
I want to take it a little further when it comes to Pat McAfee and what he did. He took a blowtorch to the industry. He had scathing remarks when it comes to you, your role, your leadership at this point of holding on to that. What kind of effect did that have on you?
I would never want to disagree with you. We're friends. I don't know if I felt the heat. You're talking about a blowtorch. Pat McAfee is talking about the Attitude Era while representing Randy Orton, who debuted long after the Attitude Era. He's doing catchphrases, and he's going on his own show. He's talking about the IWC. He's talking about calling people marks. I've mentioned this to Pat even before. Bill Watts, old-timey wrestling promoter, he used to make sure that people who called them marks, he corrected them and said, oh, actually, they're customers. And not only are they customers, when you're someone who grew up in the business and every meal you got was because of it, they're not just customers, they're family. So here I am, a polarizing wrestler that half the crowd is booing and half the crowd is cheering already. Pat, you've given me a gift, because for the first time in the centuries that the sport of pro wrestling has existed, everyone can agree on one thing. No one wants Pat McAfee at WrestleMania.
Cody, Randy Orton says, you're not a killer. Yet we've heard you on SmackDown recently, and you are clearly in a far different headspace. How do you go about matching that sadistic brutality that you know Randy Orton's going to bring to the ring at WrestleMania?
Hey, I know it's your interview, but what's a killer? Is Randy Orton saddling up with Pat McAfee, jumping people from behind, terrorizing Jelly Roll? Does that make you a killer? Is that what people were really wanting when they said, oh, we want 09 Randy back, we want the Viper to have that venom back? No. Randy's as fake as he's ever been. And you're talking about matching that? Hey, we live in a world where we know that wrestling exists outside of WWE, right? So if anyone followed this path the whole way, the finish, the story path, all of that, before I ever showed back up on the WrestleMania stage, they just need to look back. They know. I have no problem matching Randy Orton intensity-wise. I have no problem matching him at the lengths that he's willing to go. I'll be honest, I don't just have to match it. I've got to top it. And one thing, the last time I was in the ring with Randy Orton was King of the Ring. Who's King of the Ring? I am. I've been here before. I'm not worried about it.
Cody, this is now 3 straight years where, and I hate to be a conspiracy theorist or put this stuff out there, but it's just too obvious for too many of us. But 3 straight years where your road to WrestleMania has been incredibly influenced and affected by outside forces. Had the Final Boss, had Travis Scott, and now we got Pat McAfee. Is this just the price of being QB1, of being on the platform and the throne that you sit on, or is there something far bigger going on when it comes to all of this?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I don't want to lean towards a conspiracy theory. It doesn't help me to speculate, but you're pointing out the obvious. If you choose to be a Cody Rhodes fan during WrestleMania season, this is what we do. This is what we do. We thrive in this environment and have continued to, as I sit here with the richest prize in our game, and as you put it, QB1. I would just like to think, you know, my mentor in the business said to me, that's great you're doing that at WrestleMania. What are you doing the night after? I'd like to think that this is just part of it, that it comes with the territory, and I'm not the first person who's encountered this. But, you know what? No. No. It doesn't help me to think any further into it. I have to be ready for Randy Orton. That's who I'm wrestling at WrestleMania 42 in the main event. I'm not wrestling any outside forces. It boils down to us 2 men and who's better.